As some would say. By the way, before we start on the open, I'd like to just say credit to Johnny I, who's back from Memphis today with the Wally George knowledge during Super Crosstalk. I remember Wally George here locally on Channel 56, KDOC. As someone once said, Johnny I, that's good knowledge. Anyway, what's not good knowledge is Lakers drop Game 5 to the Grizzlies last night. That means the series heads back tomorrow night to Crypto.com for Game 6. Lakers, is it a must-win to close it out and not go 7? We're going to talk about it, reacting all Thursday thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. Plus, don't forget the NFL Draft is tonight. Shitano and Cappy will have you covered as the first round begins, and then at 7 p.m., thanks to our friends at your SoCal Hyundai dealers, we will bring you ESPN Radio's coverage of the NFL Draft tonight at 7 o'clock. Right now, though, let's get to it. Johnny I, welcome back. Mason in Ireland, your Thursday afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, that was rough last night, John. That was rough.
Somewhat predictable, though, wouldn't you say?
Well, they'd won.
After going overtime the game before.
They'd won 13 of their last 15 at home. Best home team in the league.
Yeah.
Best home record in the league. So, yeah, not completely unexpected. What was concerning about the game, I thought, was how, first of all, two things. One, how tired LeBron looked. I thought LeBron looked gassed.
Yeah, he even said that after the game.
And the second part of it is, and I understand they got within 12 in the fourth quarter, but why were those guys out there burning energy when you got to the fourth quarter and they were down 20? Why not give those guys a blow to get ready for Game 6?
Michael asks the same question all the time. I think some of it has to do with whether or not they want to come out.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a partnership between Darvin and LeBron and AD. And every once in a while you got to protect players from themselves. But I thought, you know what? I've seen – I did a game in Philadelphia this year.
Right.
Where the Lakers were down 11 with a minute and a half to go.
Yeah.
And Michael said, why are these guys in? And the
Yeah.
Lakers went on an 11-0 run and sent the game to overtime.
Right. I remember
And
that,
actually
yeah.
had a couple of chances to win it, but both Austin Reeves and Anthony Davis missed free throws.
Yep. I just think you expend so much energy to get down 12, and you've got a game in 2 days, which is, I mean, I don't want to say must win, but you kind of better win tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
that's a good way of putting it. It's a better win. If you go back to Memphis after losing 2 in a row,
It's going to be scary.
yeah, it'll be really hard.
Especially after game, off day, game, off day, game, off day.
Yeah, I think they're going to win tomorrow, but I don't know. I think Golden State's going to win tomorrow. So listen to this. I have a this is just this time of year for me.
Yep.
But I have to pack basically for a week, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm going somewhere Saturday morning.
Right.
You may not. There's
yeah.
a possibility.
Yeah,
Okay.
you may not.
So the one scenario which would allow me to not have to go anywhere.
Is if the Lakers win.
No, the Lakers win and the Warriors lose.
Right.
But
otherwise, you're in Golden State on Sunday.
If the favorites win, I fly to San Francisco on Saturday for at least 4 days.
Yeah.
If the Lakers lose, I fly to Memphis on Saturday. If the Lakers win and the Warriors lose, I get Sunday off.
So what do? Do you just like ball up a series
I
of
pack for a week.
suits, and do you probably have like that thing where you put them in a plastic bag and then you suck all the air out of the bag?
I haven't worn suits on the road since the pandemic. I just wear.
Oh,
I wear sweaters.
You
and
wear
a-
suits at home,
I do, with no tie.
right?
Yeah,
but on the road,
after
it
the
doesn't matter
pandemic,
so much.
when I stopped doing TV locker room, I just said I'm wearing suits at home, and on the road, I'm just going to wear a sweater and a dress shirt.
Yeah, everybody got more casual after the
Yeah,
pandemic.
well, especially the coaches.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Coaches.
None of
for
the
sure.
coaches even wore suits anymore.
Yeah, I thought that was my one concern. And LeBron obviously didn't have his best game. They kind of, I mean, I don't want to say wasted, but Anthony Davis had a great game. Anthony Davis was really good last night. And you want to take advantage because Anthony Davis can be the disappearing man at times. You kind of want to take advantage of nights where Anthony Davis has a really, really big game. They weren't able to do that last night.
Right, but the honest answer to your question is technically it's a must-win for Memphis. You know,
it is a
have
must-win
to
for Memphis, of course.
It's
a better win.
It's a better
for the
win
Lakers.
for the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
So, are you going to watch the draft?
No, I'll watch day 2 of the draft. The Rams have 11 picks.
Well, that's why I brought it up. Did you see Mel Kiper's latest big board?
Trading up.
He says they're going to trade up and draft Hooker, the quarterback out of Tennessee?
I would not. I don't like that at all.
Well, I mean, Mel could be wrong. He's
Yeah, I
wrong all
don't
the
like
time.
that at all. There was a report that the Rams at one point were going to trade up and get Will Levis. Now Levis is way too high in the draft.
Yeah,
now, I think for them to get.
I heard he's going no lower than 12th.
Here's the thing about the Rams and what they're doing, and I do think it's a mistake for the Rams to go quarterback in the first round or with the top pick. There are also reports that at the 36th overall pick, they might take Fresno State, Jake Hayner, Purdue's Aiden O'Connell, BYU's Jaron Hall, a series of guys. Why would you, when you need secondary, when you need edge rusher, when you need defensive tackle, when you need offensive line, why would you go quarterback unless you believe that guy's like the next
Yeah,
thing?
that would be the only thing because they're punting this season anyway.
Yeah.
So you want to draft for depth.
Yeah.
And maybe they like this kid Hooker out of Tennessee, and he's really good. But and that's why Kuiper. I don't think Kuiper just made it up out of thin air.
No, didn't. Although it was Bill Barnwell who said trade Aaron Donald and get to 3 first-round picks. That was his projection for the Rams. So I think it's sort of silly season when they start trying to guess.
Right.
I mean, aside from the first cut, even the number 2 pick is kind of a jump
By the way,
ball.
Bergman, how many minutes between picks do they have now? It used to be 15.
5, isn't it?
I hope it's 5.
I think it's 5, and then I think
no, it's 5 in the second round for sure. In the first round, is it maybe 10?
Maybe it's 10. I can look it up.
minutes.
It's
It just
changed
takes
recently.
so
interminable,
long.
especially if you're picking in the top 5, you know pretty much who you're going to take.
Right, and the reason they want to give them time on the clock is in case somebody wants to make a last-minute deal. Whatever time limit you set, the deals will adjust.
It is 10 minutes.
It is 10 minutes. Oh, that's interminable.
So that's 3 hours and 20 minutes for the first round of the draft.
Yeah. The second round, the third round will be interesting for the Rams. They've got a total of 11 picks in the draft, including 1 second-rounder and 2 third-rounders. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I kind of hope they do go offense. Because the one thing I hope for this year, and I don't think it's going to be a good year, I don't think they're going to win a lot of games, but I at least want to see them score a bunch of points, right? I want it to be, if we're going to lose, I at least want it to be
You want to
entertaining.
lose 40-34.
Exactly, and have some fun doing it. So, yeah, the draft, I always think the draft is, I mean, I know it's on ABC and it's on ESPN and it's on every single channel. I rarely have any interest in it unless the Rams are picking
right.
in the
I
first
used to,
round.
when I was a reporter in San Diego, I used to have to cover the draft, and we would go down there. It used to be like during the day on Saturday.
Yep.
And we'd go down there at like 9 in the morning, and we'd stay there until 7 o'clock at night. It was like the longest day of the year.
Yeah.
And back then, I think it was 15 minutes between picks.
Do you watch the NFL draft, Bergman, or you?
I mean,
Do
I'll
you
see
care
what
about the Raiders? Do the Raiders
I
have
do
a first
care
round
about the
pick?
Raiders. They do have a first-round pick. It's number 7.
Do they have number 7? Now, are you not?
I mean, they didn't make the playoffs.
Are you not intrigued by that, John? Your team picking at number 7?
When is the last time we drafted anybody good?
Well, you've got new guys now. Like, right, Mike Mayock and John Gruden, they were a mess. But you've got new guys now.
You know where they came from?
A team that drafts really
No,
well.
they don't.
New England
No, they
they
do
draft
not.
well in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
But
Their team is comprised mostly of guys who went late in the draft.
Right. So, but that doesn't do anything for the 7th pick.
Does
We're not talking about the 7th pick. We're talking about somebody getting paid. According to Ian Rappaport, sources, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have agreed to terms. He has his deal.
Did they say what the terms are?
Not yet, but they will be out soon. It's going to be very, very large.
so?
I wonder if he got a fully guaranteed deal.
I wonder
That's
how
what he
it
wanted.
measures.
He wanted
up.
the Deshaun Watson deal.
Yeah, I wonder how it measures up against the deal that Jalen Hurts just got. I wonder if Jalen Hurts getting that deal helped to reset the market to some
I
degree.
think it's absolutely no question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you can go to him and say, hey, look, Hurts came in for this. Let us give you this. This is commensurate. We think of you as our Jalen Hurts. Let's get a deal done.
Yeah.
So according to Adam Schefter, the two sides still are working through language, but the Lamar Jackson and Baltimore Ravens deal will get done per league sources. Baltimore will keep its quarterback.
Yeah, I thought it would wind up that all
Me
the time.
too.
I thought he might have to play on the franchise tag, but it's good that he got a deal. I mean, he certainly deserves a deal. I think that the Deshaun Watson deal screwed everybody up, and maybe the Jalen Hurts deal reset the market, and that's why they were able to come to terms. Yeah, next Friday, do you know where you are next Friday?
No. Me and Sedano are on hold.
So,
Because I know there's a big remote, and if I'm in town, I'll try and go. I hope there's probably going to be a game that night. I may not be able to go. I don't know. It all depends on where the Lakers' schedule is.
so does the Golden State series start no matter what on Sunday?
No. If either one of them lose tomorrow, then their Game 7 is on Sunday. And that means Game 1 would probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. And
you would potentially
be gone Friday.
Be gone Friday.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll say it this way.
But, I mean, if I'm in town, I'm planning on being there.
Meet us in the OC on Cinco de Mayo, ESPN LA, taking over Solita Tacos and Margaritas in Anaheim for a Cinco de Mayo fiesta. We're giving away Angels tickets. We've got Mandy Awards tickets, which there's a black market for right now because they're all sold out. Plus Solita gift cards and more. It starts at 10 a.m. Travis and Slee, me and hopefully Ireland, Sedano, hopefully, and Cap, and the entire 710 crew.
Sedano may be done with the playoffs. We'll ask him when he comes in today. I'm not sure.
We'll find out. The whole 710 crew at Anaheim's hottest new restaurant, Solita Tacos and Margaritas. Light the fire within and feed your soul. So when you get knocked out of the playoffs early, is it a disaster or is it part of the journey? We'll get into that coming up next. Mason and Ireland, 710 ESPN.
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo, going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Solitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium, used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day, gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar.
We're all
right now.
going to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May.
Yes,
Cinco de
I know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually.
And it is Mason and Ireland, your Thursday. Coming up this hour, don't forget, around 1:45, Wheel of Questions, as producer Jorge spins that wheel. That's coming up in just a few minutes right here.
I don't believe in the Mason curse.
Mason and Ireland on 710.
No such thing as a Mason curse.
Not anymore.
Now, is there such a thing as a Mason good luck charm?
No, because you've had a lot of losses.
There you go.
But are you going to go tomorrow night?
I am not going to go. I labored. I went back and forth, and finally Bergman pressed me for an answer.
And you
I
said
no.
Yeah, I did have to press you for an answer.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you for giving me the answer.
You're going, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Who got the other?
Lindsay?
Lindsay. Yep. Nice. So Lindsay will be there, too.
Yep.
Jorge, not in consideration at all? Not in the running?
I never got asked.
Never got asked.
You got to ask?
Hey, now you got
Yeah,
Friday night
never
off.
got asked.
Exactly.
So last night, the Milwaukee Bucks crashed and burned. They are, weirdly, they won the game that Giannis didn't play in, Game 2.
Right.
And lost the rest. They
Now-
would lose 4-1.
I find this thing with Giannis after the game fascinating.
Me too. So here's the question that Giannis got after the game.
I just asked Bud the exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay, do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, you know. And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, you know. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball. You know, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, you know, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. You know, sorry that I didn't want to make it personal because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back, but I remember it.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I get what he's trying to say. This is the old, it's about the journey, it's not about the destination. But the destination has got to be at least when you're facing the number 8 seed, a team that had to play in for the second play-in game. It's a disaster.
He's being praised for that answer by people like Mark Cuban and other people in sports, and frankly, he's wrong.
Yeah.
I love Giannis, and he's not a failure because he's one of the greatest players ever to play the game. He's going to be fine.
Yes.
But because of their team's performance, people are going to get fired. People are going to, he said, do you get a promotion?
Chris Middleton might leave.
Do you get a promotion? Yes, I reported. Do you get a promotion every year? No. But if you do what the Bucks just did, people are going to get fired.
Yeah.
It's not Giannis. They're not going to fire him. He's the best player on the team. But this was absolutely fair. Greg, did you put the Shaq stuff in?
Yeah, got the Shaq.
Okay, so
Jorge did it.
This is more how I feel. Here's Shaquille O'Neal right after he heard Giannis say that.
I think like everybody else. When I didn't win, I was very hard on myself. Like he missed a lot of free throws. We talked about that before we talked about how his team shot. So when you're the great player and they expect you to win and you don't win, in my mind it is a failure. I played 19 seasons and I failed 15 seasons. When I didn't win, it was a failure, especially when I made it to the finals versus the Rockets and lost, made it to the finals for the 4th time with the Lakers and lost. It was definitely a failure. So, I can't tell everybody how to think, but when I watch guys before me, but the Birds, the Kareems, and, that's how they thought, so that's how I was raised. So he's not a failure as a player, but is it a failure as a season? I would say yes. But also like his explanation, I can understand and respect his explanation. But for me, when we didn't win, it was always my fault, and it was definitely a failure.
Yeah, the one thing he said there was, I can understand his answer, I can understand his take in that moment, but had they lost to Boston in the second round or Philly in the second round.
The point you're making is the critical one. It's how they lost.
Yeah.
That's why it's a failure. And Sedano always says 2 things can be true at once.
Right, it is right. It is a journey and all that stuff. And Phil Jackson, you say it's about the journey.
And only one team can win.
Correct.
But to say that that's not a failure, to be the number 1 seed and the favorite to win the NBA title and to go out in the first round in 5 games, I would flip it on him. How is that not a failure?
Yeah.
I love Giannis. I think he's one of my favorite players to
In
watch.
that moment,
and favorite players to cover. I just think he's wrong.
In that moment, do you think he should have said failure, disaster, or do you understand why he approached?
Ask me that question.
Okay. Giannis, you're out of the playoffs. Do you consider this year to be a failure?
100%. Our goal was to win the NBA championship. We positioned ourselves all season to have the best record in the toughest conference. I honestly thought, and no disrespect to Miami, but I thought when these playoffs started, we were going to roll people.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it. We underachieved. We failed. We've got to examine everything we're doing. I know only one team can win, and I don't want to disrespect the team that just beat us. Miami, and especially Jimmy Butler, should get a lot of credit. They played great. But, yeah, we failed. And we got to figure out why we failed and get better.
Historically, how many times, I'm just throwing this out there, how many times has the 1 seed lost to the 8 seed?
6.
6 times.
Ever.
6 times in history.
Yeah. You were in New York when it happened once.
I was. I was. That was the crazy Van Gundy run.
Went all the way to the final.
Yeah. There's no way to position this. Now, it is 2 things can be true at one time, right? Bergman, 2 things can be true. It is about journey and all that stuff, and there's a philosophical approach, and, Paulo Coelho, Eckhart Tolle, all those philosophical guys. I'm sure like Deepak Chopra, all those guys would say journey, not destination, blah, blah, blah. But this is sports, and the destination has got to be championship.
100%. And John's absolutely right. It is actually a failure. I mean, he says it in there. There's no failure in sports or something along those lines, and that's just patently false.
Well, he said Michael Jordan. Did he say the Michael Jordan quote in there?
He said there's no failure in sports or something.
Michael
along those
Jordan
lines.
won 6 times. Did he fail all the other years?
So, but they also weren't.
I think
the
Michael
1
Jordan
seed.
would say yes.
He would because he's that type of player, and Giannis is that type of player too. But they also weren't the 1 seed. Now, when in the second 3-peat that the Bulls had, and they were the 1 seed, and they lost to the 8 seed, that would have been a failure to them.
Of course.
Sure. 100%.
So it also, and this is, again, not taking anything away from Giannis, who's great, but if you ever get around, every once in a while you'll come across somebody in sports that gets physically ill when they lose.
Right.
I've only met 2 of them in person. Jimmy Johnson, the football coach, when Jimmy Johnson used to lose, you didn't want to be anywhere near that dude. He was so driven that if he lost a game, he immediately started, okay, how do I fix what just happened?
Right.
And the other one was Kobe.
Yep.
Kobe, you could not talk to after a loss. All right? It was, even sometimes in the playoffs, even after wins,
right.
Kobe would say, people would say, you just won a great game and you're not even excited. And his answer would be, because the job's not done. Kobe's personal happiness was dependent on him winning or losing. Giannis looks at it differently.
Right.
Doesn't make Giannis wrong, but I just disagree with him.
Yeah, it's interesting that you put it in the context of, do you get a promotion every year? And sports is different from the rest of us because it is a zero-sum game.
Of course.
You either win or you lose. If you're driving around out there, you're a sales guy, and you haven't gotten approached, it does not make you a failure. But if you're a basketball player, it is a zero. If you're an athlete, it's a zero-sum game. There's either winning or there's not winning. And, of course, only one team can win. I think the thing that makes this a huge failure is, again, the fact that it happened in the first round. It happened to an 8 seed. The Heat needed a second game in order to play into the play-ins or into the playoffs. I mean, all of that. I think the answer would be more acceptable had they just lost to Joel Embiid or had they just lost to Jason
100%.
Tatum. You would say, oh, yeah, no, they were a great team, and I don't think the criticism would be what it is now.
Sure. It's also, I mean, you're talking about a Heat team that was just in the finals against the Lakers not too long ago.
Sure.
That's pretty much the same team.
Yeah.
That is a very
and
Jimmy
Butler was unbelievable.
Sure. And
that
he was
last
fantastic.
shot, the 56-point game, all that stuff, he was fantastic.
Did everything. The problem is they lost 4-1. I understand Giannis got hurt. You're the
other
1
thing.
seed,
Lost
and you
in 5
lost
games.
4-1 in 5 games. That is
Yeah,
a
the question
failure.
the question asked is, how is that not a failure?
Yeah.
Yes.
You lose to the 8th seed in a 5-game series.
Right.
That is.
Now, John, what do you think Miami can do going forward here? Can they beat the Celtics? Can they get
Well, they
back
don't
to
have to play the Celtics.
No,
They're
they
playing
play
the
the
Knicks.
Knicks.
So they're playing the Knicks, so they should win that one.
Well, the Knicks think they're going to win.
Yeah, the
course
Knicks.
they
I wouldn't call
Knicks
that
beat them
a sure
3
thing.
out of 4 times this
How
year.
far do you think Miami goes now?
They can get to the conference finals, but I mean, I think in the end, the winner of the Philly-Boston series is the team that's going to go to the
So
finals.
the Philly-Boston, you don't think Miami can win that? Because
I do.
After coming, Miami can win this.
Would you
right?
not agree?
I think
mean,
Miami can go to the finals.
But in Vegas right now, I'm sure Miami is the 3rd pick out of the East to go to the finals.
If that.
Philly-
Knicks might even be favored to win
Right,
that series.
Philly-Boston, I think the winner of that series is the better team.
And Embiid
will wind
isn't
up-
healthy.
Yeah, Embiid's not healthy. And what is his status?
Doc Rivers, last time he talked, said 50-50 that he plays.
Yeah, Boston has been the overall favorite in Vegas to win the title for a while. So I would imagine they still are.
Are you sure Milwaukee wasn't?
No, Boston was. We actually went
Okay.
through the odds the other day.
Boston.
There you go. All right, coming up. Oh, by the way, we should mention Dodgers did lose today. They wind up losing 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh. They lost 6-2. Unfortunately, Julio Urias had another bad start, gave up 6 earned runs, and that's back-to-back bad starts. In the lineup, they still don't have Will Smith back. They had Michael Busch at third base today because Max Muncy is still on paternity leave. He went 0 for 3. James Outman hitless. Nobody really hit except for Jason Hayward had a couple of knocks. And David Peralta had a 2-run single. So that was it. Dodgers lose again. They're scuffling. When they get Max Muncy back, when they get Will Smith back, the lineup looks very different, but they're really scuffling right now. Wheel of Questions is coming up next. Mason, Ireland, 7:10.
biggest show on the radio, Mason and Ireland, here each weekday, 1 to 4 p.m. You know what it's time for? What is this? It's time for Wheel of Questions. Producer Jorge, are you ready with that wheel? Hit it!
All right, Ireland, what do we got?
Okay. If your significant other was a florist and chocolate didn't exist,
Okay.
what would you buy them to say that you're sorry?
So chocolate doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They're a florist, so they see flowers all the time.
Yeah. And you screwed up. You have to apologize. You know what I'm doing? Benji. Cold hard cash.
Does she not have
Honey,
that?
Benjamin,
I'm sorry.
look at you.
I'm sorry. I ran off with that other girl. Here's a Benji.
But does she not? Is this in a world where you're married? Because she also has access to your money. I imagine she's spending plenty of Benjis on her own.
In that case, gummies.
Gummies. That's a good answer.
Bergman, what are you getting?
I mean, I love your Benji's option, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna jewelry, right? Isn't that the right way to go all the
Jewelry.
way through? Jewelry is really the right way to go.
Really a good call.
Yeah, you took mine. Jewelry.
Jewelry.
Or
Okay.
like a spa day.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That's a good
here.
one, too.
It's a day for
That's
you. This is a
another
day
one.
for
Go
you.
get a massage.
Day for you.
All right, Jorge, serious question if you get the massage.
Uh-huh.
Do you pay for the happy ending?
Oh, come on.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
What did I do wrong? how
Yeah,
bad
what
did
if-
I mess up?
Yeah, how bad
What
was
if you did what you're paying for? Yeah, I don't know if it would work.
That's a tough one.
Mace, what are you doing?
Okay. This is very out of the box. Puppy.
Oh, you really screwed up.
No, a puppy. Because puppies are cute. It'll get her to go, aw, your love is going to last 15 years. 15
Not
years.
a day more.
Yeah. No, a puppy, I don't think you can go wrong with.
That's not a bad answer.
We were thinking about getting a third dog.
You have two now,
Two now.
but I barely can handle one.
Sophie's
Murphy the dog is 100% puppy.
Sophie's going to be 17 on the 4th of July, and I feel like we need backup dogs. Need a backup dog for when Sophie goes.
Backup dogs.
Does that not make sense, getting a backup dog?
Yeah, because then when one goes, you have another one already
Because
there.
Ron, plus Sophie just lays around. Ron has somebody to play with if we get a backup
Is it
dog.
going to be Puraline?
No, it's not going to be Puraline. It is not going to be Puraline.
Maybe you'll just give her another $500.
But it is going to be a small dog like Ron because I want to be able to stick it in a suitcase and take it with us on vacation somewhere.
Stick it in a suitcase? No
Stick
holes,
it in
nothing,
the
just
suitcase.
throw it in
Well,
a
they'll
suitcase,
be-
put it at the bottom of the
they'll
plane.
So,
No, I can't go bottom of the plane. That's cruel.
Yeah, no, I would never put a dog. In
You
the
make
bottom
up
of the
make
plane.
up a story that you need a service
Oh,
dog.
all
or
you got to do
something.
is you can go on Amazon, buy one of those little vests, and you're all set. There
Yeah, but
doesn't
no,
even
if-
you don't. It's not like they're asking you for papers. If your dog's wearing a vest, it's an emotional support dog.
So I had two big dogs, and I had to put them on the bottom of the plane in crates.
you shouldn't do that.
Well, if they're big, yeah, you
Either-
probably had no choice.
I had no choice. It was going
Yeah.
to Hawaii and back from Hawaii.
I'd have bought him a
That's-
ticket.
I don't think
doesn't
you
work that
can.
way.
I don't think you're
You
allowed
cannot
to.
buy a dog a ticket.
But I'll tell you, one of my dogs, she was a mess
Yeah.
afterwards, and forever. She was never the same.
Yeah,
after
that's
being
why-
on one
Oh,
of those
that's
planes.
terrible.
Yeah.
Hey, at what point do you have to buy a baby a seat? Like, I see moms with
when do
babies
they-
all the time.
A lap child.
At
Yeah.
what
2
point
years and up. After 2 years.
is it? 2 years?
Yeah.
And are they checking?
Yeah.
So Maite is.
Because they ask you for an ID. Remember, when you check in, they ask you for an ID. They ask
Wait,
you for
does
your-
Maite have
Maite
an
does not
ID?
have an ID.
No, but her passport. She's got her passport coming or something.
Maite has a
Yeah,
passport.
they're going somewhere this summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so
Wait a
how
minute,
old is?
they're going. You're not going.
I'm
You're not going?
No.
How old's Maite now?
She's gonna be 5.
So she needs a seat.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
just pretend.
Nah, I can't.
you
Put it on
can't
my
pull
lap
that
anymore.
off.
Nah,
Yeah,
you pay it.
I always wonder. By the way, line tomorrow night. Lakers. Bergman. Where did he talk about it? Lakers favored. What do you think the line is?
What do I think the line is? Lakers favored.
I
by-
guess 3.
I was going to say 2.5.
Lakers minus 4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
Wow.
Now, here's my question. We've been throwing around a lot of mythical money. I won a bunch last week. I think I won $31,000.
You did?
I won $5,000 from Momo the other day. She thought Milwaukee was going to come back to win the series.
Oh,
I was
gosh.
like, it's ridiculous.
Well, they had that game last night. They just blew it in the
Just
end.
handing me 5,000 mythical dollars. What is the official scoreboard right now, Bergman? Because I want to make a bet.
All right, you have 130,000, Mace. John, you have 112,000. I
Okay.
have 77,000. And Jorge, of course, has $383,000.
All right, so the question is, how do you catch Briones? You got to bet big to win.
Well,
big.
remember, if the Lakers advance in this series, I get 125,000
That
mythical
will help.
dollars. But on
Be
top
at
of that, give me
255.
30,000 mythical dollars on the Lakers minus the 4.5 tomorrow night.
Solid. What are you going to do, Jorge?
60.
Oh, he's going up to 60.
60.
That's so smart by you, by the way.
That
Double
is
it.
a
Oh, right.
strong play.
By the way, that's strategic too.
Exactly. I go over 400.
Strategery.
Yeah, if I pick up 30, he picks up 60.
Exactly.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah,
You
good
can
bet,
bet
though.
bigger than the rest of us.
Well, because he's you know what he is? He's the big stack at the poker table.
Yeah. You know what I think is really fun? I think it's fun to guarantee wins. Like I guarantee,
Like Barkley did.
like Barkley did, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Didn't he?
Secret sauce is the Kings gonna whoop their ass tonight. Guarantee it.
Oh, my.
Guarantee it.
Really? You
And
think
it
that? Say it.
ain't gonna be close.
Ooh, say it the way you
Really? It's not gonna be close.
All right, well, say it with your chest then.
The Kings are gonna blow the Warriors out tonight.
And?
Guaranteed.
How big is his ass?
They ain't dropping nothing.
Nothing. Oh, that's good. Are you buying what he's showing here?
Guarantee.
Isn't this like a running bit? Every time he guarantees something, it goes the other way.
Is that true? Is he bad
Yeah.
at guarantees?
You're very bad.
See, I'm really good at guarantees.
You're terrible.
Oh, I'm really good.
How big is his ass?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
no,
that-
I'm really good at. I'm an excellent guaranteer. I'm known for my guarantees.
Well, guarantee something.
I guarantee. Oh boy, this is really setting myself up. I guarantee the Lakers win Game 6.
I think you should have to come to Memphis with me if they don't.
Is that the booby prize is going to Memphis? It's that
I
bad?
love that. Can he do the show next to you? Can he sit with you?
Well, you know that hotel's so good with the
Oh yeah,
Comrex.
that
God,
hotel
yeah.
has got excellent
We'll give
Wi-Fi.
you both
so
a
this
day
is
off
how
that day.
Okay, wait. This is how screwed up my life is. I'm openly rooting for the Warriors, not just because of Clay, but because San Francisco is a really good Comrex hotel and Sacramento is a really bad Comrex hotel.
Although, I just thought of something. So,
That mean, by the way, a Comrex is something I use to do the show when I'm on the road.
and sometimes there's a delay, and I think there was like a
Right.
second and a half.
Oh, it's awful.
But if I'm doing the show from Memphis with you,
Yeah, then we're
we'll
good.
both be on the same delay.
Yeah, we just can't take any calls.
We can't take any calls, or
But
we
we
can't
can't
talk
talk
to
to us.
Bergman.
But Bergman's the producer, so we wouldn't be taking any calls anyway.
Well, we're going to take a 2:00 call.
Oh, yeah,
today.
coming up.
We had a fantastic call. Bergman, you got to admit, yesterday's call was smoking. The best call I
Smoking
think we've
hot?
taken. Smoking hot.
What was the subject of the call?
Lakers. It
Okay.
was Lakers.
He had good opinions on the Lakers.
Really good, strong takes.
By the way, I have contract.
You have a new contract?
I have contracts from Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
is it
good.
all guaranteed?
It's not all guaranteed, but it's a 5-year, $260 million contract. I believe there's $185 million guaranteed.
So that's more
That's
than
pretty
the,
close to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's in the ballpark. He's 233.
Guaranteed.
There
Yeah.
you go. Guaranteed. And by the way, all of our breaking news is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Go there.
Go there. Do us a favor.
I didn't
Go
have the
there.
rest of the thing because you just threw that at me. I didn't have the rest of the thing, but I knew that much.
It's not bad. It's all at the top of your page. So
Go
you just
there.
Click on it.
Go
Live
there.
radio, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a new slogan. Go there.
Guaranteed.
All right, so 2:00 call today. Every day at 2:00 we take a call.
Some of them are really good, others not so much. And if you ask us how we're doing, Jorge will hang up on you.
We don't want you to say how you guys doing because we are doing just fine. But come with something strong. Think about what you're going to say. Plan it out a little bit. Don't write it down like you would on the Rome Show, but plan it out a little bit. And come strong. 877-710-ESPN. That's 877-710-ESPN. 2:00 call of the day is coming up next. By the way, we're on YouTube today. You can watch the YouTube live stream presented by LAFD. Go to joinlafd.org for more information. Mason, Ireland, 710 ES.
A good karma brands radio station. Listen to Mason in Ireland more at 1 p.m.
And it is Mason in Ireland, your Thursday. You know, Johnny I might have to hit the road if the Lakers don't win on Friday night. He might have to pack for like a week without knowing where he's going. Luckily, Steve Mason always has great packing tips.
What do? Do you just like ball up a series of suits? And do you probably have like that thing where you put them in a plastic bag and then you suck all the air out of the bag?
Just a traveling tip, kids. You know those bags that you use to vacuum? They're useful sometimes to pack other stuff that, can slide underneath other stuff in a suitcase. Anyway, more of Mason in Ireland. Your Thursday on 710.
That's great advice, by the way.
Put it in the bag and then suck the air out of the bag?
Yeah, not your advice.
The vacuum bag? Oh, yeah, the other thing.
Yeah.
Sure,
Morales had the right advice.
That totally works, yeah. I pulled in Ireland last night. I was awake all night. I couldn't sleep.
Really? Why?
I have no idea. I had a cocktail last night. Maybe that was it.
That might have contributed to it.
I ended up watching middle of the night cable news. It's like Morning Joe is not on in the morning here.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I found that out last
sometimes.
night. All right, so it is 2 o'clock call of the day time, and that means any call 1 to 10. John, what line do you want?
Let's go number 2.
Lucky number 2. Let's go to West Hollywood and Adam. Hey, Adam, what's up, man?
I just wanted to tell you guys why you're wrong about Giannis.
Good.
Okay.
So, yes, it was a disappointing season, but it's not a failure. The guy played barely even 2.5 games in the series. Jimmy went off. We know he's a different animal. And Jimmy's just trying to get to the playoffs the same way that Giannis did in 2021. Jimmy did the same thing in 2020. He's repeating it again. Coming from where Giannis comes from, and I say this as someone whose dad is an immigrant, you have a different appreciation and outlook at the way that you care about things. And Giannis is like, I can understand where he's coming from. He's been an MVP twice. He's won a championship. Coming from where he's come from, this isn't a failure. He's incredible. He could have easily been one of the MVP, or he could have been the MVP this year. It's disappointing. It's not a failure. The way that he presented it as an authentic, the way that he presented it was so authentic and real compared to the guys that come out of the league now and just say, "Oh yeah, it's a failure," whatever. He's awesome, and it was not a failure. And
so, Adam, describe this, because obviously I'm not an immigrant. John's not an immigrant. Describe this dynamic you're talking about, where an immigrant might view this differently.
I think my dad always tells me every day is you're learning something new, and you're always trying to take that experience and applying it to the next thing. And that's exactly what he said. I'm taking this loss and moving forward. And just like that happened, you have to recompartmentalize that every time. It's 2 steps back to go 1 step forward. And he's been to the mountaintop. He's done it. He's going to do it again. And and also he barely played in this series. So you can't say it's a total failure. It's similar to, last year where they didn't have Chris Middleton. It's a bummer and it's a disappointment, but it's not a failure. And I think that we're too quick to point this is a failure in a lot of different things in our culture and society, but especially sports. And yes, it's, again, like I said, a disappointment, but I wouldn't just say blanket it's a failure because he didn't win.
I think you're wrong, Adam, and here's why. I don't think Giannis is a failure. By any measure, that guy is an unbelievable story. He came out of Greece. He, didn't speak English, turned himself into one of the best NBA players ever to play. He's not a failure. But is Milwaukee losing to the 8th seed in 5 games a failure? Adam, how's that not a failure?
John, you said it's the same Milwaukee team from 2021 that won the championship pretty much. Minus Tyler Hero, it's pretty much the same team from the finals in 2020 that played us. This is a battle-tested Heat team regardless of whether or not, I know you bring up, Bill Simmons and Russillo all the time. They knew that this was in them. They talked about it all the time. They're like, when is this sleeping giant going to wake up? They have it kind of ingrained in them. We can talk about Heat culture all the time. It's the most annoying thing that sports talk radio has.
Yes.
But they've done it. They've been there, and it's pretty much the same team. Yes, they don't have Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson as a shell of himself, but that team has been as close as any other team to getting over the mountaintop that there is.
Yeah,
right. I would say this, Adam.
If it's a failure on anyone, it's Budenholzer.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, and it might cost him his job. It's a good call, Adam. Thank you.
Very good call.
But
See, Bergman, 2:00 call of the day is happening.
Sure, it's working just fine.
Let's take 20 more.
Yeah, let's have
Travis and Sleep probably took 25 calls.
Let's have the 2:15 call of the day.
Is this something you really want to do?
Do
you really have nothing to say outside?
Let's go to Jim in South L.A. Hey, Jim, you're on 710. What's up?
Hey, I agree with the previous caller, by the way. What I was calling about was the Lakers, and our next game on Friday, to me, is a must-win because we don't want to go back to Memphis. We don't want to have it up in the air there because we don't want to go to a Game 7. Anything can happen, right? But, you guys were talking earlier this week about LeBron James and his legacy here in L.A. And I was one of those people who did not like LeBron, right? Because of the comparison with him and Kobe always, I did not like LeBron. He came, of course, I'm happy with the next, with this championship, with 17 that we got. But he has sealed himself in my heart with this last season especially.
Hey, Jim, let me ask you a question. This is a really good call. Because I think that game, where are we now? 4, when LeBron went for 22 and 20, was that like a galvanizing moment? I think that was his signature game as a Laker, and I know they went to the finals and all that stuff, but was that like a game that sort of galvanized him in Lakers history?
Yes, I was already leaning towards him. But that sealed himself for me as a true Laker that I can love going forward.
Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for the call. See, 2 great 2:00 calls of the day.
I've never really understood. Maybe you guys can shed some light on me because I might be too close to it. But why a Laker fan wouldn't respect LeBron? He could have gone anywhere. He elected to come here. In his second season here, he won a title.
Right.
I mean, and he's still going. He's the reason we're in this.
But
why wouldn't you like him?
I love LeBron. I loved him before he ever got here. I've always been a huge LeBron fan. Partly, what he did in Cleveland, and I've got Ohio roots and all that stuff. But I think somewhere along the line, it became, for fans, you're either a Kobe fan or a LeBron fan.
Why,
I don't
though?
know why that dynamic developed. Why
I think there's more to it than that. I think there's a difference between respect and like. I think everybody respects LeBron. They don't like him because he has bounced around from a couple teams where Kobe, to your point, stayed in one city forever, and he was always here. He was always a Laker. And so there's just a lot of things that he had his whole thing when he went to Miami and he said, we're going to win 5, 6, 7 championships and all that stuff, and had the press conference. So they don't like that.
But Greg,
he's
showmanship.
That they didn't
won a
enjoy.
title in every city he's been in.
But I think the point is he's not exclusively ours.
Right. And
the way Kobe was exclusively ours.
So that's what you're asking. But this isn't my opinion. I love LeBron. But for people that do not, that's what it is that he kind of has that Kevin Durant in him where he moves around.
Where he
from
bounced
city
around
to
a
city.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pro player movement. I think these guys have earned it.
I am too, but you see the difference. There's
I
something.
see what you're talking about, but I just don't.
There's something.
buy it.
There's something cool about the guy, and it doesn't happen very often. The guy who starts and ends his career in the same place, and rides all the ups.
Matter of
and the
fact, I
downs.
wonder if that'll ever happen again in any sport. Like, I'm trying to think of a young player, 25 or younger, that's going to spend his whole career with the team he's on now. We know it's not Ohtani.
Right.
We know it's not Luka.
Nope. Do we know it's not Luka?
I think
Luka's short for this world in Dallas?
I think so. Don't you? I mean, they keep screwing it up.
They do keep screwing it up, and probably not.
I don't think it's Embiid. I don't think it's any basketball player.
The one guy who's maybe on the verge of it is Damian Lillard, although now Damian Lillard has indicated that maybe.
He's not young. He's older.
Right, but he's got a chance to do it.
I'm trying to think of a baseball. Well, Ohtani we know is not going to stay with the same team. Trout. Will Trout play for?
Trout may play for the same team in his career,
but he's from New Jersey. He grew up a Philly fan.
He's got a big old contract.
He's got
over
10-year deal.
Yeah, but he's got outs. So he's going to be able to cash in again. I just wonder. I'm trying to think of. Is there a football player? Because it's harder to move in football. Is there a football player under the age of 25? Is Patrick Mahomes ever going to play for anyone other than the Chiefs?
I can't imagine Patrick Mahomes plays
Think
for
about
anybody
this.
else.
He can.
Peyton
though.
Manning did.
Can.
Joe Montana did. Aaron Rodgers is now moving on to a second team. No matter.
Jerry Rice did.
Right. Every great football player.
They all try to catch on with that one last team at the end.
I was thinking about it today. I was watching a show with Tony Dorsett at the end of his career went to play in Denver. Most of those. Emmitt Smith went to play in Arizona.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, Michael Jordan went to play in Washington.
Right. I think it's a really hard thing in modern day sports for one guy to finish this whole. And Kobe asked for a trade. Remember, Kobe wanted to go somewhere else.
Whatever that year was.
If you're lucky enough to get a guy like Kobe, you should enjoy him while you have him.
2005 he asked for the trade? 2004?
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
And I'll play on Pluto. I just want out. Yeah.
See, I think Laker fans appreciate Kobe in part because he was here 2006, 2007, 2008 when it didn't look so good. Before the Gasol trade, he rode through that valley with all Laker fans.
All right,
then came back to the top.
The next test case for this is a year ago I would have told you there's no way Steph Curry's ever going to play for another team. But now there's talk that the Warriors are going to cut bait on Clay and maybe Draymond. And if they do that, I wonder if Steph just doesn't say, I grew up in Charlotte. I'm going to go finish my career playing in front of my family.
I think Steph has a chance to start and finish his career at Golden State.
Got a chance. But if they cut bait
Draymond,
on Clay and Draymond.
Draymond, I think, is out.
See,
Draymond's a free agent. He's can walk away and sign anywhere.
There was a story yesterday, I wish I could remember who's getting credit for it, that Joe Lacob went on the record with somebody and said, we're not letting him go.
Why would they get rid of because Clay's under contract. Why would they get rid of Clay?
One more year after this.
One more year.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but because if you pay, this is, I think I sent you this last week. There's a new, if I haven't sent it to you, I'll send it to you for tomorrow.
Okay.
There's a new, John Hollinger broke down the CBA.
Okay.
And in the future, it's not just a matter of, do you want to pay these guys? Because the Warriors certainly have the money. They owe but you're going to be heavily, heavily restricted under this new CBA of what other moves you can make if you go way over the cap. In other words, the Lakers would not have, under this new CBA, the Lakers would not have been able to go out and get Rui Hachimura. They couldn't fit him under the new cap.
Why? Because it's a hard cap?
Yeah, well, it works as a hard cap. So they're going to be so far. If you go in, there's tiers which you can go over. If you get into like the highest tier, they take away your mid-level exceptions. They take away your ability to make trades if you have money coming in, and it's just heavily restricted.
They really want to flatten the league, don't they?
So if Clay stays, if they re-sign Clay, Draymond, Steph, I think Iguodala's going to retire, but maybe Iguodala, then it's the other guys that they can't go out and sign. It's the Dante DiVincenzo's. It's the Gary Paytons.
But is that in effect now?
No, it starts next year. That's why. By the way,
will it affect Austin Reeves?
It could, depending on how many tiers the Lakers go over.
Well, Austin Reeves is probably. I mean, I've seen Austin Reeves going to get $60-70 million.
Yeah, the team that's going to affect the most is the Clippers because they have the highest payroll in the league, and they're not going to be if they
lost
try
in the first round.
Yeah, if they try and bring everybody back, they will have no mechanism to improve their team. That's the way it's moving.
All right. Hey, don't forget, next Friday, Cinco de Mayo. Jorge, a very significant holiday, right? Cinco de Mayo.
No, maybe here.
Yeah, it is here. Bigger here than it is in Mexico.
It was just a battle.
Yeah, exactly. ESPN LA taking over Solita Tacos and Margaritas in Anaheim for a Cinco de Mayo fiesta. We're giving away Angels tickets. Big. We're giving away Mandy Awards tickets. Only way to get in is to win. Solita gift cards and more. We're going to be there starting at 10 a.m. Join Travis Lee, me, maybe Ireland, Sedano, maybe, and Kaplan, and the entire 710 crew at Anaheim's hottest new restaurant, Solita Tacos and Margaritas. Light the fire within and feed your soul. All right, so the Clippers, as Bergman mentioned, out of the playoffs per usual. Violence! Kawhi has got a torn meniscus. That's why he didn't play. What will Steve Ballmer do? Stephen A. actually has an idea for him, and we'll hear what he thinks next. Mason, Ireland, 710.
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo. Going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Solitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium. Used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day. Gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar
We're all
right now.
going to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May.
Yes,
Cinco de Mayo. The 5th
no,
of May.
actually.
Sports station. You're listening to Mason and Ireland right now. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, once the first round of the NFL draft is a final, it is a final. Keyshawn Johnson, the former number 1 pick in 1996.
With the first selection in the first round, the New York Jets select Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver, Southern California.
And the Jets have just won the Super Bowl. Keyshawn in the morning, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., right here on 710. Right now, more of Mason and Ireland for your Thursday.
At the sound of Steve Ballmer, it's 2:16.
Toilets!
All right, Clippers, known for their toilets in their new building. Eliminated from the playoffs once again. And Kawhi Leonard got hurt in that series, torn meniscus. That's why he missed those last couple of games. And we've talked a little bit about what the hell do the Clippers do? What do they do at this point? They've got, Kawhi Leonard, who, and injury aside, load manages all year long and then isn't available when you need him the most. Paul George injured. He wasn't available in the postseason. And they're under contract. And so Stephen A. Smith has an idea for Steve Ballmer. Listen to this.
You're the second largest market in the United States of America. You're in Los Angeles, man. The Lakers is Laker Nation, Laker Town. You know what Steve Ballmer and them got to compete against. You got an elite owner. Lawrence Frank is a well-respected executive. Ty Lue is considered one of the best coaches in the business. And this is what you got to rely on as a player. It's over for me. We could talk about the game and all of that stuff, but the culminating point, the end result is, to me, it should be the end.
All right, so you think...
Yeah, and that clip was weird, but...
He thinks he should retire.
He thinks Ballmer should make him retire.
Right.
Now, if you're Steve, how do you convince somebody to retire?
You can't, so you trade him.
He's got a chronic... But here's the other thing. He's got a chronic injury that is always going to affect him and makes him... in and out of the lineup all year long, load managing, all that stuff. There's an underlying injury. Who the hell wants him?
All right, so our last two segments are going to kind of tie together here.
Yeah.
If this was the old CBA, I would say, well, money doesn't matter to Steve Ballmer. He's got more money than all the other owners combined. Just pay Kawhi, and if he's healthy, play him. But
you're
now,
there's a cap situation.
Not only that, but now, if you stay at this payroll, and you're Steve Ballmer, you just absolutely handcuff your front office. They'll have no mechanisms by which to get better. So the decision makes now, if you're Steve Ballmer and Lawrence Frank and whoever else he lets weigh in on this, do you bring back the exact same group that has basically failed for the last 2 years? Unless you ask Giannis.
You go further.
And roll the dice with them, or do you do something radical and move Kawhi? I would move them. I don't think they will. You agree with me?
Will they do it? I just don't know what the market is. What's the market for Kawhi
I think
Leonard?
You would have to trade him for somebody that also has, like somebody threw this out the other day. I wish I could remember who it was so I could credit him. But somebody said, would you trade Kawhi Leonard for Karl Anthony Towns? It's kind of one guy who was always hurt for another guy who was always hurt.
If I was the Clippers, I would do that deal.
Would you do it if you're the Wolves who have stalled out?
I wouldn't.
But think about it. The Wolves have Anthony Edwards. It's his team.
Sure.
You'd have Anthony Edwards, Kawhi, Gobert. I think that's a better team. What'd you say, Greg?
Overrated.
Yeah, Gobert overrated. Yeah, it all leads to Rudy Gobert being overrated for Greg.
I would do that. I'm with you, Mace. I don't know why the Wolves would do it, but I would do it if I was either side, just because if the Wolves come back with the group they have, and the Clippers come back with the group they have, in your opinion, do either one of those teams win the title next year?
No.
So what are we doing here? Shuffle the deck. Let's go.
But if you're... I mean, is it me or is Karl Anthony Towns hurt less than Kawhi Leonard?
This year, he was actually hurt more. Just this year. Kawhi misses games every year.
Right.
I think the bigger question is here for if you're trying to put butts in the toilet seats of Intuit Dome.
Toilet!
Then who's going to put butts in those seats? Is Karl Anthony Towns going to put butts in those seats, or is Kawhi Leonard?
Well, wins are going to
Yeah.
put.
That's-
Well, first of all,
no, but like,
the
you
first
need-
year,
you need
the
somebody.
arena is going to put butts in the seats. The second year,
if you don't have
you've gotta
Kawhi
win.
and Paul George
And-
on your team,
and remember,
you're not going
guys,
to get people there.
Be careful not to overrate butts in the seats. The money comes from winning. Mason's right. Wins is what does it. The TV contract is way more important than ticket sales.
right?
And
by the way, and that first year, that 2024. I mean, I'll probably go to a Clipper game just to see the arena.
I mean, I'll go to 2 of them because I
Yeah,
have to.
you'll go to 2, but
Will you use
I
the
want to
toilets?
see the arena once.
I
and
will use the toilets, Greg, and I'll report back.
I am
That's the
going
most
to use
important
the
thing.
toilet multiple times.
I want to know how long it takes to get from your seat to the toilet and back.
I'm going to try to use as
And
many
also,
toilets
how
as I
long
can.
How long are the lines for concessions, too? I
Right.
want to know that, too.
Right. He should have more. By the way, that's what he should be advertising is more concession stands.
And that's another thing about SoFi that they need to figure out.
What's that?
The lines are too long for food, and the
Overrated.
food's not good.
Yeah,
So-
well, but the lines are long. You go
you
to
don't know
Dodger
what's in the
Stadium,
place
the
that you're
lines are
going to.
long.
So-
I mean,
Did
you only
you
get chicken fingers on one spot.
And popcorn.
Yeah. Hey, did you see Lawrence Frank talk today? And he said something weird
Okay.
that may be a precursor to this conversation that we're having. He said, quote, I just think we need to compete harder every single night. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the fans. We want to be a championship organization, and we have to invest deeper into the process. You have to earn it. The regular season matters. And not that our guys don't think it matters, but I just think we, all of us, starting with me, can compete harder every day. We can hold each other accountable every day, and that's what we have to do.
sounds a little Giannis-y.
And that's the opposite of Kawhi. Kawhi does not value the regular season.
Correct.
Shows up, I mean, the stories are legendary. Ty Lue will get to a game and have no idea whether or not Kawhi's playing
Although
or
how
not.
much of it
he
is-
doesn't value everything Lawrence Frank just said. Kawhi doesn't value any of it.
Okay, so get to the root of the Kawhi part of it. Momo always says this, that Kawhi has got a chronic injury that some nights does not allow him to play.
Okay. So let's accept that as part of
Let's
this
accept that
discussion.
as a premise. He can't play every night because of this injury, or he goes through stretches where he can't play. Obviously, couldn't play in the postseason because of a different injury. But if you're that guy that is going to deal with a chronic injury on a night-to-night basis, is that the guy you want to bet the ranch on?
No. And Paul George isn't much better.
No.
You know, I know Anthony Davis takes a lot of heat for missing games. He played in more games than Paul George or Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
So to me, if Lawrence Frank believes this, this may just be lip service. Nobody really cares.
Well, you got to say stuff, right?
Yeah, nobody really cares about the Clippers until they win.
Right.
So, but that's all code for we want guys who are going to be here every day.
Right.
That's the opposite of Kawhi.
Well, the other part of it is after next year, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard not under contract going into that new building.
Player option.
Oh, player option.
For both of them.
So, in other words, yeah, they could opt in for 2024 in the new arena.
Right. But if you move them, then it takes, if you
I
get
would
somebody,
I'd try to move them.
I would too.
I would try to rebuild that sucker. And by the way, in the same way the Rams built up for SoFi, they should be building something
Agree with
for
you.
the new arena so that when they launch it, it is not exclusively
People coming just to see the arena.
and the toilets.
Yeah.
And the toilets
Would be different. Hey, let me ask you something. The NFL draft is tonight.
Yes.
So the most talked about person at the top of the draft is C.J. Stroud,
Right.
the Ohio State quarterback. He is reportedly off the draft boards of a couple of teams in the top 10 because he bombed what is in essence the Wonderlic, what
Yes.
they call the S2 test.
Yep.
It's an IQ test for quarterbacks. Would that matter to you? So let's say you like his game.
Yep.
You like his tape. You work him out.
Yep.
And he kills the workout, but he bombs the IQ test. Terrible score.
Yes.
Is that holding weight with you?
I'll tell you next. Mason, Ireland, 710 ESPN.
Minutes. It's time for What's Up, Fool, around 2:45 p.m. Thanks to our friends at Dos Hombres.
Dos Hombres Mezcal.
What's Up, Fool, coming up with Corporate Greg and producer Jorge right now. More of Mason in Ireland for your Thursday.
And as long as I got my suit and tie, I'ma leave it all.
John Ireland
He's a Memphis guy.
Memphis, exactly. I was just going to hit you with that.
There once was a time when he had a minority stake in the Grizzlies. I don't know if he does
that right?
anymore. I haven't seen him at games.
Have you ever eaten at one of his restaurants?
I don't think so.
He's got some barbecue restaurants.
We went to a big one. We went to a place called Rendezvous the other day. It's really famous down there.
Yeah, what'd you order?
Pork ribs.
Yeah, I don't like beef ribs.
Some people ordered beef
guy.
ribs. Some people ordered the chicken. Some people did a half and half.
Actually, Memphis-style ribs are beef ribs, right?
I don't know, but there were pork ribs on the menu, so I ordered pork ribs.
Somebody asked ChatGPT. It'll know. It'll know. All right, so NFL draft is tonight. And there are interesting, by the way, the Rams have 11 picks. Starting tomorrow, second and third round picks, 1 second and 2/3. The Raiders have the number 7 pick overall tonight.
They'll screw it up. I'll still root for them anyway after they screw up the pick.
The Chargers have the I don't care pick.
Memphis barbecue is pork.
Oh, it is pork. Okay, good.
They were good.
ChatGPT.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
All right, so I asked you a question. C.J. Stroud is the quarterback for Ohio State.
Yes.
He is projected to go in the top 5 tonight, maybe as high as number 2.
Right.
But a lot of teams are wavering on him, reportedly, because he bombed what they call the S2 test. This is the new Wonderlic. It's basically an IQ test for quarterbacks.
Yep.
Would that hold some, none, or a lot of weight with you, the S2 IQ test for quarterbacks?
It would be an aspect of what I would consider.
Would you pass on him because he bombed it?
No, if he lit it up on tape, if he lit it up on his pro day, if he struggled on that test, I think the other two would weigh more.
So, you know, it's
than
interesting.
the Wonderlic
last
test.
time I remember having this debate, and it's been had over many, many, many players.
Yeah.
Was Vince Young.
Yeah, he did a 7 on the Wonderlic.
And Vince Young was a can't-miss prospect coming out of Texas. He went in the top 10 of the draft, and he didn't work out. And what most
Vince Young, though, had a couple of good years in there.
But I think his whole career was less than 5. I mean, if you're using the second pick in the whole draft on a guy, you're counting on that guy to be a 10-year NFL starter.
Right.
Whatever position you draft him at. And to me, it's a red flag.
It is a red flag.
Yeah, and here's why. You don't have to ace it, but if you go back and look at all the people that have bombed it,
yeah,
you have a really hard time finding anybody who had a great career. You don't have to ace it, but you can't bomb it.
So the average score is a 24. I don't know. This is based on the Wonderlic.
I think C.J. Stroud had a 6.
Okay. Terry Bradshaw had a 15. Jim Kelly had a 15. Dan Marino had a 15. Vince Young had a 7.
Right.
Those are well below average.
Right. But I'm saying if you bomb it, okay, you get like if we're in a class, you get a D or an F. That doesn't worry you? Those guys are you gave me a bunch of C's, which aren't good, but they're, a little below average.
Right.
Yeah, but like Vince Young's 6 is an F.
Okay, let me throw some, because there are multiple aspects of this that are interesting with the NFL draft. You talked about what are they calling it, the F1 test?
The S2. S is in Sam 2.
Okay, S2. That's one aspect. There's also an interview component where you sit down with a guy and you talk to him about his career and his goals and his life and all that stuff. So Will Levis, who's also going to be a top
They
10
think he'll go 12th or better. He's the quarterback from Kentucky. It's leaked that 3 or 4 teams think he was terrible in his interview. Okay.
That he was overly cocky, that he was standoffish, that he didn't ingratiate himself to the people that were interviewing him. Now, is that a red flag?
So, as you were describing that,
yep.
I think I've told you this story, that not so much anymore, But 2-3 years ago, I started playing a lot of golf with Ryan Leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Who has,
really?
Yeah. Who has really – I can get him to come on if you want. He's actually, like, incredibly well-spoken about everything that's happening in his
Probably
life.
like one of the top 5 biggest busts of all time, right?
And he doesn't run from that. He will openly discuss anything that's happened to him in his life. And what he has told me is that back then when he went through the process, you just described him.
Yep.
He didn't have the self-awareness that he thought that he was projecting confidence, and he thinks he may have come across as a little bit cocky, and that it just didn't. He had some other things. He had some substance abuse issues going on. He had some other things going on in his life, and he messed
Did
up.
he wind up in?
I think he did some jail time.
Did some jail time, yeah.
Yeah, but now he's kind of straightened out, and he's actually into broadcasting, and he's pretty good on the
Is
air.
he?
And the thing I respect about him is you can ask him about anything,
right,
and he won't run from it. Which is why, by the way, he spoke up last week when I guess it was Bill Polian said, yeah, he told us he was going to go to Vegas and party, and I've heard that story from other people, but Bill wasn't in the room.
Right.
You know, Bill never met with Ryan, which is why Ryan thought it was weird that he brought that up. But
so there's another component. So let's put it this way: there are the measurables that come from a pro day.
Good way of putting it.
There is the tape that you actually see from him playing, right?
Which I would
Actual
value
game tape.
above all else.
There is the interview, and then there is the, I guess, what would you call it? The intelligence test or the
Yeah.
S2.
If I looked at your tape and
Yeah.
you killed it on your
right.
tape, you were great you were Andrew Luck on
Yep.
your tape, and I interviewed you,
and you didn't like him,
and you bombed the interview a little bit, I would worry a little, but I would still be focused on your tape. Now, if you went over the top, if Will Levis is going over the top to be a jackass, I'd probably pass on him. It's
Right.
too important of a pick.
What if it's a bad interview and a bad intelligence test?
Off my board.
Off the board.
Sure.
So those two things, even though his game tape
I
might be great.
If he had the highest S2 score, I wouldn't draft him on that alone. I'd then lean heavily on the tape. But if he had the lowest score, I think I'm out.
Right. The highest S2, well, this was back when it was Wonderlic. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
48 out of 50,
who went
right?
to Harvard, yeah.
Yeah.
Greg McElroy also had a 48. Blaine Gabbert had a 42.
But
Alex Smith had a 40. Eli Manning had a 39.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I'm all in, by the way, on Bryce Young. I think that everybody's saying he's too small. He might not make it. I think he's the next Drew Brees. I watched a ton of his games at Alabama. I've met him. I've listened to people who know stuff way better than I do talk about his makeup, and his stats are just jump off the board. And he kills it in interviews and did well on the S2. So I think he's going to be the first pick tonight, and I would do the same thing Carolina's doing.
Bergman, how would you rate those four components? If you like let's say the Raiders are going to get a quarterback with number 7.
We would take Jamarcus Russell, Greg, and screw the whole thing up.
The whole thing. Number one overall.
There's game tape, pro day, intelligence test, interview. Those are the four components.
So the game tape is first.
Yes.
And then what was the second one that you said?
Workout.
Pro day.
Workout.
Yeah.
Pro day. I don't really think there's much to a pro day. You're in shorts. You're by yourself. There's nothing going on. No one's running at you.
I actually agree. I think
I'm
pro
gonna
days are overrated.
I put that
yeah.
way down the list. I think intelligence test is the third one, and so whatever the fourth one was is the second.
Interview.
The interview is second. Yeah, because how you interact with me, how you do things. I think the most important thing for a quarterback is, can they read a defense? Can they learn the playbook itself?
Right.
Those are the two most important things. If you can't tell me what, a train going 200 miles an hour, that stuff.
Who cares?
Who cares? That means nothing to me.
Right.
I want to know.
It's football smarts. It's
Right.
not smart smarts.
Sure. So that was why the Wonderlic was so weird. I don't know what this S2 talks about. I think that's more important. But so I think the game tape is the most important thing, and how well you're able to read defenses and check off of them.
Jorge, what do you think?
I would go tape first, interview second, IQ test last, and whatever that last one would be third.
Look at Jorge. You were ready.
Exactly.
Are you okay? Apparently, Kyle Shanahan said that if everybody's healthy, Brock Purdy's your starting QB.
Yeah, and he was on a podcast with the Kelsey brothers.
Yeah.
And they asked him, like, hey, man, are you ready to throw? He's like, no, but I've been practicing left-handed. So.
Okay, so
yeah.
last night I called a game.
I'm excited, though.
I called a game with Luke Kennard of the Grizzlies. He's been the best three-point shooter in the NBA.
In the NBA, sure.
There's an amazing thing about Luke Kennard. Was a star college athlete. He went to Duke.
Right.
And is a dead-eye shooter. He's a lefty. He was an all-state quarterback in high school as a righty.
Wow.
So he shoots a basketball left-handed and throws a football right. That's a great
crazy.
athlete.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a killer athlete.
Interesting facts about Will Levis. Number 1, eats bananas with the skin on.
I've seen him do it.
Yep.
Have you seen video of him doing it?
I've got video right in front of me. The other thing he does, puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
I saw him do that once too.
Which, by the way, is not crazy. Like downstairs at the Starbucks, they're putting like olive oil in coffee. What's
olive oil?
Yeah.
Do you put anything in your coffee?
No, I drink
don't
it
either.
straight up black.
I've always been straight black on coffee.
Yeah, I'm straight black on coffee. He puts.
What
They
does
put
olive oil
oil. It's called olio or something.
Yeah, it's a new menu downstairs.
Yeah, it's like olio or something.
Sounds
You get,
gross.
and it's supposed to be really good for you.
Yeah, a lot of
Olive
things are
oil in your
supposed to be
coffee.
good for you,
But what's the difference between olive oil in your coffee and mayonnaise in your coffee? Mayonnaise is basically just stirred up olive oil, isn't it?
It sounds gross.
It
no
just
matter
sounds
what.
weird.
Yeah. Has anybody tried the olio?
No, I drink black coffee.
Yeah, I
Same
drink.
here.
I
Wait,
drink
everybody,
black.
all 4 of us drink coffee black?
Yeah,
Yep.
or a little.
But Lisa puts a bunch of stuff in hers.
I just chug my coffee. I don't like the taste of coffee.
And you drink a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's
Although,
weird.
you know what's really good? Don Francisco's coffee. Do you ever have Don Francisco's?
Where do you get it?
Any grocery store.
Oh, it's a
Don
something you
Francisco's
buy in a
coffee is
store.
the best tasting coffee. Best tasting coffee. All right. Coming up next for you is What's Up, Fool? Brought to you by Dos Hombres. In the meantime, let me ask you if
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What
Oh,
we're doing
yeah.
on Cinco de Mayo. Going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Salitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium. Used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters
Screw
in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though. 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day. Gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar
We're all
right now.
gonna be there,
That's
right?
the 5th of May, mate.
Yes,
Cinco
I
de
know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually.
Hi, I'm Olympic gold medalist April Ross. Many people think of athletes as heroes. They look up to them for inspiration and to see the possibilities of what they can do. But if I'm a hero, who is my hero? To me, my heroes are the firefighters who protect our cities and homes. My fiance is a firefighter, so I deeply respect and admire what he and his colleagues do and accomplish every day on the job. Los Angeles needs more heroes like him. Do you think you have what it takes? To learn more, go to joinlafd.org. Be a hero to your community. I look forward to being able to cheer you on along the way.
We've got a special guest voice. Take it away, guest voice.
What's Up, Fool is brought to you by Dos Hombres Mezcal. It's fate. It's friendship. It's Mezcal. Dos Hombres.
Look at that. How do I follow that? I don't. So I simply say, take it away, Corporate Greg.
Thanks a lot, Chris, and thank you very much, Brian Cranston.
Yeah.
That's a great open right there, isn't it? All right, so Tottenham, who they play for the Premier League, is that right, Jorge?
Oh, yeah, this
Premier
story,
League.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
All right, so Tottenham players, they lost 6-1 to Newcastle, and now the players are going to pay the cost of the tickets for the fans who traveled to Newcastle because they were so upset with how they played. This is their quote. As a squad, we understand your frustration, your anger. It wasn't good enough. We know words aren't enough in situations like this, but believe us, a defeat hurts like this hurts. We appreciate your support, home and away, and with this in mind, we would like to reimburse fans with the cost of their match tickets from St. James Park. We know this does not change what happened on Sunday, and we'll give everything to put things right against Manchester United on Thursday evening when, again, your support will mean everything to us. Together, and only together, can we move things forward. Have you ever heard of players, not the team, players doing something like this?
Never.
Never.
And I think it's a dangerous precedent.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're doing it. I think it's like, if I was a supporter of that team, that's an incredibly cool gesture.
It is. But sports does not come with a money-back guarantee. I
Ever.
wish it did.
Yeah, ever.
I wish it did.
Yeah, think all the money you spent when you went to the Super Bowl. Rams lost. You went to the World Series. Dodgers lost.
Yep, Game 7,
yeah,
Super
you'd
Bowl
have
in 2018.
you'd have a big fat check
I would
waiting
love a
for you.
money-back guarantee.
Yeah, but good for them.
Yeah.
It's almost like something out of Ted Lasso.
Right?
You know, it's
Exactly.
like, I mean, it just never happens. So
Yeah.
I think if you play that bad and you can do something for a small group of fans that made the trip, go for it.
I just like playing
by the
the
way,
Ted Lasso
you have
theme.
the speed?
I'm I have not watched this
The one that
week's.
came out this week.
Yeah,
It's good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
So, if the Clippers decide to do this, how much do you think Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to pay for
All
the
of it.
season?
By the way, Ballmer should do it.
Should.
Ballmer's worth like $100 billion. He could offer a money-back guarantee.
He should offer.
Or you could just stop giving money to guys who don't play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it really wouldn't cost them very much. They give away tickets for like $10, right?
It is true. Buy a Regal movie ticket at LA Live, and you get a ticket to
Buy one,
the
get one
Clippers.
free.
It is.
Yeah,
Buy
I
one, get-
used to go to
that
gas
deal
stations.
did exist.
It did. You used to go to gas stations and be like, if you buy one Clippers ticket, we'll give you one free.
Yep, exactly.
That was a real
And-
thing that happened.
You get a short line at the toilet.
Yes.
Toilets!
What's up, fool?
All right, so the CEO of Paramount has reportedly walked out to. Have you heard of CinemaCon?
Yes, I have. It's a big convention, usually in Vegas, where they show all the movies and the previews and all that stuff for the upcoming year.
So he went to CinemaCon and he staged in a full flight suit, and I'm going to really have to try and clean this up.
Okay.
So, and he goes up on stage and he says this. Bet all you effing dorks that made fun of us for pushing Top Gun to theaters aren't laughing now. We're the house that Tom built. Get ready for MI7 to blow your blanks off. Do you like this, or do you think it's a little bit
No,
too
I
far?
like this. I like this.
I mean, I'm on record, and so is Mace, so is Michael. We don't care if people curse.
Well,
Yeah.
but so he said, blow your junk off. Apparently,
But here's well,
it's colorful.
Yeah. He's right. I mean, Paramount has got, I guess, both parts of the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie coming, and they are supposed to be spectacular, although I don't believe Tom Cruise does his own stunts.
Yes, he does.
Top Gun did blow the doors off. And by the way, the thing I love about this, CinemaCon is a convention for movie theater owners. They're releasing these movies for theaters, which I think is critical at a time when movie theaters are looking for a way to survive. So
Right, and I don't want to see movie theater. I know you don't either because that was part of your world for a long time. I don't want to see movie theaters go away.
No.
Record stores have basically gone away. I used to love to go to record stores.
Yeah.
And movie theaters will go away if people don't support them. So anything, and let me say this about Tom Cruise. I know Tom Cruise is a whack job. I know he jumped on Oprah's couch. But that dude is a bona fide movie star.
he's the biggest star in the world.
If you invest your $20 or $15, whatever it costs to go to a movie now, and 2 hours of Tom Cruise, you got a great chance of getting your money's worth. That guy just delivers in spades, man.
Yeah.
He's just really, really good.
Yeah, he is the biggest star in the world, I think. And by the way, what's interesting, too, I think movie theaters, I'm betting on them to be successful again. You know, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon made the movie Air, which has done really well in theaters, for Amazon. Amazon and Apple have both decided, you know what? We're going to make movies for theaters and then stream them.
They've invested billions in that.
Yeah.
And so I think that may help bring it all back.
So it's a really good sign. I mean, he doesn't do his own stunts, except he did jump on the couch himself.
Yes.
That was him. That was not a stunt.
And he picked on Brooke Shields for no reason. There you go.
Yes, he did do that too.
He broke his
And
ankles.
other
He
than
broke
that,
his
we
wrists.
don't say anything else about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, notice we did not mention any cult he may or may not be in.
It's not a cult.
Nothing to do with
religion.
feet levels or none of that stuff.
Yeah.
LRH. Don't pick on that.
What's up, Foo?
Okay, so here's a date idea for you if you're looking for one. The Beverly Hills Hotel is bringing back its Lux Poolside movie series this summer. It will feature movies like Breakfast at Tiffany's, La La Land, and many others.
Fancy.
Yeah. So you can rent one of these iconic cabanas for a unique movie night experience for $1,700. What does that include? It's a fixed menu and drinks based on whatever movie they're showing. What is the most you've ever spent on a date?
Certainly not $1,700.
Well, okay, does this count? When I was dating Lisa, I used to take her to Hawaii a lot. Yeah. And so that what I paid for was probably more than $1,700, but it was fun.
But would you call that a date?
Well, it was like a
or
date.
Or were you already in?
We'd been dating for a couple of years before the first time I took her.
I don't think that. I think it's like.
But I paid.
Date, right?
We weren't married, and I paid for everything.
I'm not married, and
you still pay for everything.
Wait, by the way, time out. You basically are married. You aren't married to the letter of the law, but you've been with the same person for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, we're not married, but we're together.
I think your friends, people like me, think of you two as married.
Yeah, I think of myself as married too, even though I'm not.
But yeah, so you're in you're in a long-term committed relationship,
Yes.
whether you want to admit it or not.
I'm trying to think, most expensive date. It's probably that Hollywood Bowl night.
The one you didn't go to?
No, the one that I went to. You and Lisa and me and that.
I forgot about that.
That model guy.
When you say Hollywood Bowl night, I think about the night we were going to see Billy Joel, and you got sick and never showed up.
Threw up on my shoes.
Yeah.
No, the night that you and me.
That was Sting and Maroon 5, right?
Sting and Annie Lennox.
Yeah. They were both very good.
And I had that model guy with me.
Yes.
Yes.
Who Lisa nicknamed Abercrombie.
Abercrombie.
She thought he looked like he was out of an Abercrombie and Fitch catalog.
Good looking dude.
Yeah.
What a great nickname.
What's up, Foo?
Do you know who Howard Eskin is?
Oh, yeah. Philadelphia sportscaster.
So Philadelphia sportscaster.
By the way, either his son or his brother is a big program director for sports radio there.
Oh,
but go ahead.
Okay. So he said the other day that he claims that he will retire if the Eagles draft Texas running back Bijan Robinson. So what could possibly happen with a sports team that would make you consider retiring, or say I'll retire if this happens?
Well, sports are unpredictable, so it's a risky thing for him to say. He doesn't know that they won't take Bijan Robinson.
I kind of hope, just for the bit, that they do
a
take
fan
him.
of the team?
Yeah, well, he covers them.
He covers them.
Yeah.
But he covers them. But is he a fan?
Well, I'm assuming.
I think he's like Bill Plaschke is here. So is Bill a fan of our teams?
No.
So then
he's a critic.
Well, Howard's a critic.
It doesn't matter. He's going to retire. He threatened to retire if they draft him.
Yeah,